From the Great North Woods to the Rockbound Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, disturbing allegations of animal abuse at a Bucksport Animal Sanctuary where authorities are investigating the deaths of several dogs.
Plus, new laws for the medical and recreational use of marijuana could be some of the biggest changes to the industry in Maine since it started. And
recent vandalism at the Craig Brook National Fish Hatchery could cause the public to lose access to that area.
Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Emma Smith.
And I'm Craig Colson. Thank you for joining us this morning. We'll have those stories and much more coming up. But first, a check of the forecast. And much like yesterday, it looks like today will be another winter, a beautiful summer day on the way. A little rain moving in tomorrow.
Winter. No tea.
No.
Okay.
Did I say no winter involved?
I just misheard you. Yeah.
It's another winter.
It's early.
So no snow.
It's early and I haven't had enough coffee.
Forecast. Yeah, I
Not
hear
yet.
you. Here's Conrad with a first look at our forecast.
And our morning weather is brought to you by Washington County Community College in Calais. Check out the new agriculture technology program. Don't miss out on free college. All right, another mild start to the day today. Back in the 60s here in town. A couple of upper 50s, but you got to go well up north into Greenville. And then north of that, that's where some upper 50s were. But look at the coast. Even some mid-60s to start out today. Definitely a milder start to our Tuesday. Now, overall, though, yes, a lot of clouds outside. There's a few sprinkles that were in the region earlier this morning, but now things have cleared up and just a good amount of clouds. No worries, though. We will continue to stay dry. Now, wind speed-wise, though, look at this, around 5 to 10 mile per hour winds. These are sustained winds, so of course, those wind gusts are right around 15 plus miles an hour in a few locations. No worries, though. That's going to stick around on the lighter end for today as sunshine returns and lots of it. And warm temperatures as well. It's going to be nice and toasty. Back in those lower 80s for today. Great day to go outside and just really enjoy that outdoor weather. Now for tonight, though, mostly clear skies. Temperatures right back in those mid-50s. So still a little bit mild but cooler than what we experienced earlier this morning. Now, tomorrow, a little bit different. We are looking at some increasing clouds, chances for showers and some thunderstorms mainly in the afternoon. Temperatures right around 79 degrees. Hour by hour forecast does show an abundant amount of sunshine with temperatures right around 80 degrees.
All right, thank you, Conrad. We'll see you later on. Disturbing allegations have come to light about an animal rescue and sanctuary in Bucksport where sources are saying as many as 6 dogs were found decomposing in trash bags. For this story, we have received information from former volunteers of the rescue, but they have requested to remain anonymous. Our Devin Dagnall has more on the story.
Felt like she was hiding something all the time. She needs to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
On August 7th, a warrant was issued for the arrest of the owner and founder of the Coastal Dreams Rescue and Sanctuary, Alicia Krutulewski. WVII obtained a copy of that warrant. It shows the complaints against Krutulewski include 6 counts of aggravated cruelty to animals and 1 count of cruelty to animals. According to sources who wish to remain anonymous, concerns about the treatment of the dogs under Krutulewski's care have been reported to authorities for nearly a year.
She would never allow us in to see the dogs. The only dogs we were allowed to see were the ones that she had brought out to us or that we took to events. Supposedly some dogs were aggressive. Do I believe that now? No. I think it was because of horrible conditions.
According to a rescue facility in Florida, this is one of the most recent dogs to be transferred to Coastal Dreams, a dog named Howler, who came from the Rags to Riches rescue in Florida. According to the Rags to Riches dog coordinator, Sierra Hancock, her organization had done multiple interviews and tours with Krutulewski and had heard nothing but good things about her organization.
We've had many other rescue people that have worked with us that are like, Coastal is the place to go.
Unfortunately, the decision to send Howler away for the promise of a better life is one Rags to Riches has come to regret, and they now describe Coastal Dreams Rescue and Sanctuary as a house of horrors. Howler is confirmed to be alive, but dangerously underweight.
But when I can tell you that she got Howler in April, she said she was feeding 4 cups of high calorie a day. This dog was skinnier than he has ever been in his life, almost to the point of not being alive.
And that was Devin Dagnall reporting. According to officials, the investigation into her and Coastal Dreams is ongoing at this time. and we will certainly keep you updated as more information becomes available.
The State Fire Marshal's office has determined the cause of an explosion that destroyed 2 homes in the town of Sinclair. According to the Aroostook County Emergency Management Agency, it was caused by the accidental release of propane gas. It was just after 7 o'clock Saturday night when the blast leveled one home and also destroyed a neighboring house. One person was inside each of the homes when the blast occurred, and both suffered non-life-threatening injuries. That includes a 73-year-old man who lived in the house where the blast erupted. He has since been released from a hospital. The Red Cross is now helping the residents who lost their homes.
Well, Maine State Police are investigating a fatal crash in Penobscot County. A state police spokesperson says it happened around 12:30 a.m. on Saturday on the Golden Road in T3 Indian Purchase Township. They say 33-year-old William Toby of Rollingsford, New Hampshire, was driving the vehicle when it left the roadway, re-entered it, and then left the road on the other side before striking a group of trees and then rolling onto its side. Toby suffered minor injuries. 24-year-old Benjamin Farquhar of Millinocket was a passenger in the front seat. He was taken to a local hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. And 23-year-old Benjamin Harvey of Rollinsford, New Hampshire, was a passenger in the back seat. He died at the scene. The spokesperson says it does not appear any of the occupants were wearing seatbelts, and speed and alcohol do appear to be factors in that deadly crash. It remains under investigation this morning.
A scary moment at the TD Bank branch on High Street in Ellsworth on Monday afternoon. A Chevy pickup truck crashed through the bank's front entrance. Ellsworth Police Department Captain Sean Welly says 83-year-old Martin Breacher of Blue Hill drove into the building when he was parking to go inside and do business. According to Willie, Breacher hit the gas pedal instead of the vehicle's brakes. Neither the driver or anyone inside the building were injured. The truck was towed from the entryway just before 2 p.m.
Well, there are new details on a plane crash at a Maine airport that killed 2 people during what are described as brutal weather conditions. The FAA says a single-engine Cirrus SR-22 crashed on approach to the Hancock County Bar Harbor Airport in Trenton around 12:25 on July 25th. The crash happened during dense fog. The FAA's confirmed the pilot and passenger were the only 2 people on board the plane. The pilot was 71-year-old Michael Leibowitz of Charleston, South Carolina, and the passenger was 57-year-old Christina Chung of Livingston, New Jersey. The aircraft had taken off from Morristown Municipal Airport in New Jersey, and according to a preliminary report from the NTSB, a witness was working on runway lighting when he heard the plane go to full power and then saw it make a sharp left turn before hitting the ground. That witness described weather conditions at the time to be brutal with very poor visibility, and in fact said he could barely see the plane until just before impact. It's still not known exactly what caused the crash, but a remote data module has been recovered, which could shed more light on exactly what happened.
2 separate traffic stops led to drug arrests in Orrington. The sheriff's office says on Saturday, just after 8:30 p.m., a deputy sheriff stopped a vehicle and reportedly observed indicators of illegal drug activity. A Bucksport police canine was brought in and alerted on the vehicle. The sheriff's office says multiple illegal drugs were found, including fentanyl, meth, crack, and cocaine base. They say the vehicle was driven by 38-year-old Michael Clinch of Carmel. Clinch is facing an array of drug possession charges. Another traffic stop the following day in Orrington yielded another arrest. On Sunday night around 8:20 p.m., a deputy sheriff stopped a vehicle on the River Road in Orrington. The sheriff's office again brought in a Bucksport police canine who alerted on the vehicle. They say meth, cocaine base, and a loaded .38 special handgun were found. 51-year-old Randy Weber of Stonington, 35-year-old Staffney Weber of Ellsworth, and Garrett Collins of Bucksport were arrested and charged with a variety of offenses, including drug possession and probation violation.
Well, new changes to Maine's medical and adult use cannabis laws have now taken effect. Our Augusta reporter Corey Bichard spoke with the director of the Maine Office of Cannabis Policy to learn more about those new laws.
These are some of the biggest changes that have happened to the 2 programs. since they've come into existence.
John Hudak is the director of Maine's Office of Cannabis Policy. He says that most of the changes being implemented are more on the business side and won't be seen by consumers. But there are a few things you might notice, beginning when you walk through the door of an adult use dispensary.
One of the changes that went into effect on August 9th removes the requirement that IDs be checked at the door for anyone trying to get into an adult use cannabis retail store.
According to Hudak, much like liquor stores, IDs will now be checked at the point of sale. Another law that went into effect on the 9th also seeks to mirror liquor stores by allowing minors to enter the dispensaries if accompanied by a caregiver or adult.
The argument that was made was a parent shouldn't have to choose between entering a store and leaving their child in a car.
Hudak says that the area they're most concerned when it comes to minors is items being purchased for older teens.
If a store believes that a straw purchase or a straw sale is being attempted, that is an older person purchasing for someone underage, they are still supposed to deny service in that case.
For a full list of new laws affecting the cannabis industry, you can visit the Maine Office of Cannabis Policy's website. In Augusta, I'm Corey Bouchard for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
All right, the time now is 6:11. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, RFK Jr. is getting challenged for his ballot access in Maine. Detractors saying he didn't qualify because he collected too many signatures.
We'll have the story coming up, but first another look at our weather forecast. A beautiful sunny day ahead today with highs near 82 degrees. Mostly clear tonight with lows dropping down to the upper 50s. Tomorrow we'll see some clouds starting to move into the area with a chance of afternoon thunderstorms. The highs tomorrow around 79 degrees. We'll be right back.
After an accident, the insurance company often wants to rush you into accepting their fair offer. Don't sign away your rights.
I didn't trust the insurance company.
They were wanting to settle fast and cheap.
How much is your case worth? It's probably worth more than you've been told.
I called Joe.
I found out what my case was really worth.
Say yes to maximum compensation, to everything you deserve. Call the firm that has been getting justice for Mainers for 50 years.
Tell them you mean business.
Hey, good morning, America. Good morning, America.
Good morning, America.
You don't just see it, you feel it.
I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm in too. I am in. I'm in.
I'm in too.
I'll be there.
Harris Lumber is locally owned and has been serving the Pequot region for more than 50 years. See them for all your projects, big or small. Customer service is their #1 priority. And with a full line of lumber and hardware items, they can also deliver to your job site. Harris Lumber, Milo.
It's Judge Judy's greatest hits with classics like
That's ridiculous. That's a lot of baloney.
Judge Judy
on ABC 7.
I've got to try this just once.
Ryan Seacrest.
I am so ready.
Ryan Seacrest joins Vanna White this fall.
Weekdays at 7 on ABC 7.
The two third-party candidates running in the 2024 presidential election are facing challenges to their ballot access in Maine. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Cornel West both submitted their 4,000 to 5,000 required signatures before their deadline to qualify for the ballot in Maine. Members of the public had until last Thursday to submit challenges to the candidates, citing why they claim the candidates didn't meet the requirements. Challengers claim that West failed to collect enough valid signatures. They also claim that Kennedy submitted more than 800 signatures over the limit allowed by law, invalidating his petition to be on the ballot. Secretary of State Shanna Bellows will hold a hearing on Wednesday to determine the validity of the claims.
Well, school officials in Deer Isle are calling for emergency meetings as they face multiple resignations just weeks before the start of the school year. According to the superintendent of schools, Union 76, which serves Brooklyn, Sedgwick, Deer Isle, and Stonington, they found out Friday that the principal of the Deer Isle Stonington Elementary School and the curriculum coordinator had both resigned, though he could not disclose the reasons for their departures. According to the superintendent, Dan Ross, this came as a major surprise to them. He says he is now working closely with the school board to figure out how to cover those roles as they still plan to move ahead with their scheduled start date of August 27th.
How do we cover it is really what the strategy needs to be, because we're not interested in delaying anything. We're not interested in significantly adjusting our range of offerings. So we're a school, we want to be open, we want to provide what we're supposed to provide.
Well, according to Ross, the principal of the Deer Isle Stonington Elementary School had only been in that position for a year. The curriculum coordinator has been with them in other roles for many years and was set to assume the coordinator role this school year. Anyone interested in either position is encouraged to visit servingschools.com to fill out an application.
The Craig Brook National Fish Hatchery in East Orland offers public boat access and picnic areas for Alamoosic Lake and Craig Pond. But according to the hatchery, recent acts of vandalism at the boat launch areas could jeopardize the public's use of areas of the station. Prior to 2020, access gates were locked at 8 p.m. every night between Memorial Day and Labor Day to prevent vandalism and other prohibited actions. But according to the hatchery, since roads have been ungated, there have been multiple instances of prohibited activities. Now they're considering closing the boathouses, bathhouses, and using portable units, and are reconsidering restricting access. That's a tongue twister there. If you have information on the recent vandalism or observe misuse of the property, they ask that you contact the Hancock County Sheriff's Office or the hatchery directly.
Now, moving on to other news, this past Friday, the Deer Isle Causeway was shut down for several hours after reports of downed power lines and an osprey nest that caught fire. Well, according to officials from Versant Power, there have been several outages in Hancock County over the past few months because of ospreys trying to build nests on electrical infrastructure. A spokesperson for Versant Power says this is happening in coastal areas all across the country.
Ospreys see a utility pole as the perfect spot to build a nest because they like to be at the highest point overlooking the water to fish. But it becomes an issue when they try to build on electrical infrastructure, putting themselves at risk, and also putting people's power at risk.
Well, Miner says they have taken many preventative steps to avoid incidents like this, including installing alternate nesting platforms for the federally protected birds. Versant has installed over 25 platforms throughout their service territory. They've added 2 in the Deer Isle Stonington area this year and plan to install 1 more just before the causeway. Anyone who sees an osprey nesting on or near electrical poles is encouraged to report it to Versant or your local service provider.
Weren't you there over the weekend?
I was caught in that.
Yeah.
I was just came across the big green bridge, was heading towards the causeway when traffic got backed up, and they told us what was going on. And that nest did catch fire, brought down the power lines.
Had to wait for a while.
Had to wait for a while, a couple hours, I think it was.
Yeah. So you found a spot and you just kind of hung out.
Yeah, I was fine. I just found a really pretty area and read my phone and whatever.
Right.
But then they removed the nest, the remnants of the nest, and within hours, the osprey were back on there with fish in their mouths. They're like, hey, where's my home? What happened to my house? And they were ready to start building a nest again, too. The good news is that there's all kinds of ospreys around the country right now, all throughout Maine.
So it's a healthy population.
It's a healthy population. It's rebounding. But they do get into some trouble every now and then.
It's just a nuisance thing, it seems like.
It is.
Yeah. Well, it seems like they're doing all they can do over at Versant.
Yeah.
All right, the time now is 6:18. After the break, the Ronald McDonald House is raising the roof after a local roofing company has stepped up to donate free services.
What a nice thing. We'll tell you all about it when Good Morning Maine continues.
One of my favorite parts of this job is the people that I work with.
We are on the Maine Turnpike.
We're all regular people. We're moms, dads. In the construction zone, the speed really is probably the biggest issue.
Average speed is probably closer to 70, 75.
Sometimes it's literally just a plastic cone that is separating us from live traffic.
Makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up a little bit. One thing I'd like to ask of the motorist is just to give us a break, slow down. I want to get home and see my wife and kids tonight.
Embrace the journey, where each moment
turns into a cherished memory. Ensuring life's journey and experiences along the way. AAA, we're always with you.
Welcome to 207 Collectibles, your ultimate destination for all things collectible and gaming, where every dream comes true and a little magic is always in stock. Whether you're looking for vintage video consoles or games, Pokemon, D&D, Magic cards, NASCAR collectibles, board games, or even Funkos, we've got it all. Come visit 207 Collectibles. Your collection is our passion.
Welcome back, everyone. The mission of the Ronald McDonald House in Bangor is to provide comfort for the families of pediatric patients. But when the roof over their heads was in need of repair, a Maine-based roofing company stepped in.
Our Doug Banks has the story.
Just having that burden taken away is so freeing and has given our families and our staff just such a great and hopeful look towards the future.
Families will travel far away to be by their child's side. And every year, the Ronald McDonald House in Bangor provides rooms, meals, and volunteer services for hundreds of families of pediatric patients.
It's truly becomes a home away from home for these people.
But recently, their roof was in need of repair. Initial cost estimates were around $60,000.
Price tag, absolutely shocking.
That's when Horsch Roofing stepped in to not only repair, but replace the roof free of charge. According to owner Peter Horsch, the Maine-based roofing company is part of the National Roofing Contractors Association and Roofing Alliance, which sponsors all 187 Ronald McDonald houses across the country.
And what that means is that we donate or give away roofs to all the houses across the country.
Genenbacher says this free roof repair completely changes their budget for the next 2 to 3 years, allowing them to focus on the ones who matter most.
Knowing that this is being completely covered by Horsch Roofing is really life-changing. Thankfully, they are doing it in a very condensed timeline, so our families aren't too interrupted.
Everybody needs a roof. And so it means a lot to me to be able to say to this house that you can just cross that line off your budget. We will take care of it.
In Bangor, Doug Banks, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
How nice is that?
Yeah, there's been a lot of instances of construction companies donating some really valuable work around the state lately.
It's fantastic. No small price tag either.
No.
Yeah. Good for them.
Very kind. All right, the time now is 6:22.
Let's get a full look at our weather forecast.
Our Maine weather this morning is brought to you by Washington County Community College in Calais. Check out the new agriculture technology program. Don't miss out on free college. All right, folks, good morning, and take a look at this. Let's start out by talking about some weather all over the U.S. Yes, we are looking at some storms, some stronger storms down south. They were in Colorado. Now they're making their way into Missouri, and get ready, Illinois, you are next in line. But some rain is in the western states, much needed, especially for all those wildfires in the western part of the United States. Now, for us, though, we're just looking at a good amount of clouds, but no worries. We will see a lot of sunshine later on this afternoon. No worries for that. And it is going to be nice and toasty once again. Dew points, very comfortable levels, not only for today, through Wednesday, through Thursday, and then even through Friday. We are looking at very comfortable dew point levels. By Saturday into Sunday, starting to rise just a little bit. No worries, folks. Of course, this weather is looking very good the next several days. Dew points will still be on the comfortable end. Now, for today, though, UV index is going to be at a high. We've seen much worse, of course, 7, 8s, and 9s, even close to 10. But no, now things, nothing like that. We're looking at maybe a 6, maybe a 7 in some spots, but I do think we're going to see a UV index of around a 6 for today. That means around 30 minutes or more, and average skin will begin to burn. Recommend putting on a hat, some sunglasses. Of course, sunscreen is going to be very important as well. Find some shade and drink your water. Very, very important to stay hydrated as well if you are going to be spending a lot of time outdoors in the sun especially, right? Now, temperature-wise, though, our average is right around 80 degrees. So it does look like for today, we're going to be a couple of degrees above that. Tomorrow, closer to average. And then look at this, Thursday, Friday, and then right through the rest of this week, we are looking at closer to average temperatures, maybe a little bit cooler Sunday into Monday, especially beginning of next week, but still looking around into those mid-70s. So, I mean, just maybe a couple degrees below average. Not too bad there. Now, for today, though, we are looking at low 80s. Lots of sunshine, though. A light breeze out of the west and northwest. Now, for tonight, though, mid-50s, so a bit cooler than what we experienced today morning. Now, mostly clear, though, so things are going to look clear, calm as well. Good night to maybe go look at the stars. For tomorrow, though, increasing clouds, afternoon chances of showers and thunderstorms, temperatures closer to average. Our extended forecast outlook does show thunderstorms in the area once again on Thursday, then decreasing clouds on Friday.
Everybody that home runs.
Hey, pass me the keys, Rob. I haven't had anything to drink.
Good idea.
We've learned to speak up to prevent drinking and driving. Now let's speak up to prevent texting and driving.
What are you doing, Mommy?
Here, let me do that for you.
So sorry. I don't know what I was thinking.
Speak up. Lives depend on it. Don't drive intoxicated. Don't drive intoxicated. A sobering message from AAA.
Whether you have a $15,000 fender bender or a surgery case worth $1 million, call the Twos.
Thankfully, my accident wasn't too serious, but I called the Twos, and Lowry and Associates still got me over $21,000.
My wife needed neck surgery after a bad accident. We called the Twos, and Lowry and Associates got her $1 million.
Big cases and small, we handle them all. Call us. We win for you.
Call 222-2222.
Maine's largest network of parts just got a little bigger. Coastal Auto Parts, newest location in Bangor, has all your automotive needs to get you to the moments that matter most. Whether you're a professional mechanic or just need a little help, find everything you need all under one roof. Our knowledgeable staff is here to assist you with friendly service and expert advice right here at 200 Sylvan Road, just off I-95. Drive in, stock up, and hit the road with confidence. Coastal Auto Parts is owned and operated by a Maine family that cares.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Welcome back to Good Morning Maine. There's not a lot Donald Trump and Kamala Harris agree on, but there is one issue. It's a play for the vote of tip-earning workers everywhere. Some critics, however, warn it could have a downside. It's an idea that's extremely popular with service and hospitality workers. No taxes on tips. Both Donald Trump and Kamala Harris are promising to make it happen if elected to the Oval Office. It's been part of Donald Trump's economic pitch to voters since June. Then Harris made the same pledge at a rally on Saturday. The idea is gaining bipartisan support in Congress, with two bills making their way through the House and the Senate, even though a budget watchdog warns this practice could decrease federal revenue by up to $250 billion over the next decade.
Well, now to the race for the White House. Former President Trump talking for hours with billionaire Elon Musk on the platform X after technical issues caused major delays. This as Vice President Harris wraps up her campaign blitz across several key battleground states, ramping up her attacks against Trump. ABC's Em Nguyen has the latest from Washington.
In one of his most significant returns to the platform X since he was kicked off in 2021, former President Trump spoke at length with owner Elon Musk. The virtual chat off to a rocky start with technical issues delaying the conversation for more than 40 minutes. The former president jumping right into criticizing Vice President Harris on border security, mocking climate change, and discussing plans to shut down the education department.
I want to close up Department of Education, move education back to the states.
Many listeners commented that Trump appeared to slur his words, including when talking about his attempted assassination.
I have to give the Secret Service sniper, they call him, or sharpshooter, but sniper, because he didn't know there was a problem. He's an extraordinary shot, obviously.
The Harris campaign slammed the interview, writing, Trump's entire campaign is in service of people like Elon Musk and himself, self-obsessed rich guys who will sell out the middle class and who cannot run a live stream in the year 2024. This coming amid big news out of swing state Arizona. Abortion access will be on that state's ballot in November, allowing voters to decide on the issue. As Democrats make abortion rights a central message this election year, Harris attacked the Republican ticket for its position of leaving the decision up to each state.
And now, in over 20 states in our nation, there is a Trump abortion ban. It would ban medication abortion in every state. We are not going to let that happen because we trust women.
M1, ABC News, Washington.
Turning overseas, Israel is on high alert at this hour amid concern that Iran could launch an attack at any time. The White House is now making a last-minute diplomatic push. Here's ABC's M1.
This morning, the Israeli Air Force is banning its members from leaving the country. They're on high alert for a potential attack from Iran. A White House official now saying Iran and its proxies could launch a significant set of attacks on Israel this week.
We share the same concerns and expectations that our Israeli counterparts have with respect to potential timing here.
Iran has vowed to retaliate for the recent assassinations of top Hamas and Hezbollah officials. President Biden spoke yesterday to the leaders of France, Germany, Italy, and the UK to discuss the escalating tensions and call for Iran to step down, even as a U.S. missile-guided submarine heads to the region.
The president is confident that we have the capability available to us to help defend Israel should it come to that. Nobody wants to see it come to that, which is why we continue to have these diplomatic conversations.
In the meantime, CIA Director William Burns arrives in Qatar Thursday for previously scheduled peace talks between Israel and Hamas. Talks growing seemingly more fragile by the day, with the threat of a wider regional conflict looming. M1, ABC News, Washington.
Coming up on the second half of the newscast, a local girl has been collecting backpacks for charity for the last 7 years, donating over 1,000 in that time. We'll take a look at her largest donation to date.
We'll have that story and more coming up on Good Morning Maine.
Your favorite restaurants for half off. It's half off dining from Fox 22 and ABC 7. Go to foxbangor.com, click on half off dining, and start saving now.
Little Miss Davis Sweets and Treats, a home-based business that specializes in homemade baked goods. Everything I bake is made to order. I specialize in baking homemade fudge, brownies, cupcakes, giant cookies, and large gingerbread men.
Great restaurants from all over Eastern Maine at half off dining from Fox 22 and ABC 7.
There are a million excuses to not wear your seatbelt. But none of them are good, because you only have a 50% chance of surviving a crash if you are not wearing your seatbelt.
I'm Lauren Stewart, Director of the Maine Bureau of Highway Safety. Remember, buckle up, no excuses.
Acadia Gem EV Rentals, the clean, all-electric, and fun way to see Bar Harbor and Acadia National Park. Gem vehicles are 100% electric, low-speed vehicles that are street legal on any paved road with a posted speed limit of 35 miles an hour or less. You will enjoy all the beauty of the island without leaving a carbon footprint. Gem rentals are available in 2, 4, and 6 passenger vehicles. Visit acadiagem.com or call 207-288-8983.
Your favorite restaurants for half off. It's half off dining from Fox 22 and ABC 7. Go to foxbangor.com, click on half off dining, and start saving now.
Noah's Ark Food and Ice Cream is located 5 miles off exit 244 in Medway. We offer homemade pizza, mouth-watering cheeseburgers, lobster rolls, and scallops. Noah's Ark Food and Ice Cream. Stop by for a delicious bite to eat and dessert too.
Great restaurants from all over Eastern Maine at half-off dining from Fox 22 and ABC 7.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Welcome back, everyone. Today is Tuesday, August 13th, 2024. It's also International Left-Handers Day.
Good. We got a day for them. Yeah. This special holiday celebrates the differences and distinctiveness of left-handed individuals. Created in 1976, it raises awareness about the issues faced by left-handers in a world dominated by right-handers. Some things simply aren't made for lefties. But despite the challenges, many left-handers have gone on to do incredible things. The long list of legendary lefties includes Microsoft founder Bill Gates, Presidents Ronald Reagan and Barack Obama, and singers Paul McCartney and Lady Gaga.
And the list goes on from there. They do. It's kind of a right-handed world. A lot of things are made just for people with right hands.
Right. Even just writing in general, the way that we write, you're going to get like pencil ink or pen, graphite or ink on your hand as you go along.
Yeah. Oh, the world's full of challenges.
I know.
All right, time for history. On this day in history, back in 1521, after a 3-month siege, the Aztec capital fell to Spanish conquistadors, marking the end of one empire and the rise of another. In 1889, inventor William Gray received a patent for creating a telephone that used coins to operate it. You know, I looked for a payphone recently, could not find one anywhere. I know there's some out there, but...
I saw an empty shell of a payphone in Montreal the last time I was there, and that made me think, I haven't seen one in a long time.
Yeah, drive around here, look around for one. You won't find any.
They took them down.
All right, a fan of baseball, Gray also invented a padded chest protector for catchers. In 1906, an all-black Army unit was wrongly accused of shooting a shooting rampage that left one person dead at Fort Brown in Brownsville, Texas. As a result of an investigation that featured planted evidence, President Theodore Roosevelt ordered the discharge without honor for those 167 soldiers. In 1972, they were all exonerated, finally.
Finally. Right.
This one's kind of neat. In 1942, Henry Ford unveiled his soybean car. It was the first plastic-bodied car made with agricultural plastic, which weighed about 1,000 pounds less than a steel car. It was made with a combination of soybean, wheat, flour, and that kind of thing to make the door panels.
That's interesting because it was a time where steel production was still American, so he was so ahead of his time.
All-time high.
Yeah.
That program was suspended when World War II broke out, and then the line never made it back to production once the war came to an end.
Such a pretty car.
Yeah.
Also in 1942, Disney's Bambi opened at Radio City Music Hall in New York City. Bambi always makes me cry.
I know,
can't watch that.
I know.
In 1961, the city of Berlin, Germany, became divided in two with the borders sealed between the East and the West. Construction on the Berlin Wall began 2 days later to stop the flight of refugees. In 1969, the crew of Apollo 11 took part in a grand parade through New York City after successfully landing the crew on the moon. They were also awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom. In 1994, it was reported that aspirin not only helps reduce the risk of heart disease, but also helps prevent colon cancer. In 1997, the first episode of South Park appeared on television. In 2004, Hurricane Charlie stormed ashore in southwest Florida, killing 10 people and causing more than $15 billion in damage. And in 2008, U.S. swimmer Michael Phelps won his 11th career gold medal, becoming the first athlete in Olympic history to do so. He would go on to win 28 Olympic medals, making him the most decorated athlete in the history of the Summer Games. And I think one of his records was broken this Olympics.
Yeah.
So, and he was watching on as it happened. Finally now in 2013, California became the first state to create laws that protected transgender students. Proponents of the law hoped it would reduce bullying and discrimination against transgender children.
All right, for birthdays today, they include Sam Champion, the weatherman for Good Morning America. He is 62 years old today. Actor Sebastian Stan is 41. He is seen there in his role as the Winter Soldier from the Marvel movies. And actress and singer Lennon Stella is 24 years old today. She's appeared on some local TV shows as well.
Great name.
Yeah,
That's a
happy
cool
birthday
name.
to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, moving right along now. It's a beautiful day, a little bit warmer than yesterday.
Yeah, it's going to be gorgeous. If you have the day off, you've picked a good day to take the day off.
Yeah, good call. Here's Conrad Zapinski with that forecast.
And our morning weather is brought to you by Washington County Community College in Calais. Check out the new agriculture technology program. Don't miss out on free college. All right, another mild start to the day today. Back in the 60s here in town. A couple of upper 50s, but you got to go well up north into Greenville. And then north of that, that's where some upper 50s were. But look at the coast. Even some mid-60s to start out today. Definitely a milder start to our Tuesday. Now, overall, though, yes, a lot of clouds outside. There's a few sprinkles that were in the region earlier this morning, but now things have cleared up and just a good amount of clouds. No worries, though. We will continue to stay dry. Now, wind speed-wise, though, look at this, around 5 to 10 mile per hour winds. These are sustained winds, so of course, those wind gusts are right around 15 plus miles an hour in a few locations. No worries, though. That's going to stick around on the lighter end for today as sunshine returns, and lots of it. And warm temperatures as well. It's going to be nice and toasty. Back in those lower 80s for today. Great day to go outside and just really enjoy that outdoor weather. Now for tonight, though, mostly clear skies. Temperatures right back in those mid-50s. So still a little bit mild but cooler than what we experienced earlier this morning. Now, tomorrow, a little bit different. We are looking at some increasing clouds, chances for showers and some thunderstorms mainly in the afternoon. Temperatures right around 79 degrees. Hour by hour forecast does show an abundant amount of sunshine with temperatures right around 80 degrees.
Looks fantastic. Meanwhile, a 13-year-old Brewer girl has found the perfect way to bag up her generosity and share it with others.
Our Judy Hersey has more on Ava Burke and her giving spirit.
For 7 years, Ava Burke has enlisted the help of her family, classmates, and the community to collect new backpacks for students in need.
We got 530 backpacks this year, and over all 7 years so far, we've gotten 1,300 backpacks.
It's Burke's biggest donation to date. The teen had been storing the backpacks on the floor in her bedroom, but this year she needed a storage unit in Brewer to hold all the donations she has collected for those gearing up for school in Penobscot, Piscataquis, and Knox counties.
It feels really good to know that there are kids out there that have my backpacks.
Burke's family was there to help transport all the bags to Penquis, where students will be able to pick out one for themselves along with other school supplies. Renee Muscatel is the Community Relations Manager for Penquis.
It's unbelievable how many backpacks she's been able to raise. The whole program has about 1,200 kids registered, and she's raised over 500. That's almost half. One person's effort with all the community and businesses helping her. It's just been incredible. She's far exceeded our expectations.
Burke says she can't imagine spending her summer doing anything else.
And I really want to keep going because it just feels so great knowing that just the little thing that I'm doing over the summer is helping so many kids get what they need to go back to school.
In Bangor, I'm Jody Hersey for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
What a wonderful thing she's doing. We've been proud to have her on the morning show here to talk to her about her efforts. And she had hoped to break the 1,000 mark this year. She did that and then some.
Surpassed it, yeah. It's just so cool to see her grow up too. I mean, she speaks so well publicly now too. So clearly she's benefited by her own acts as well.
What a good person, right?
Yeah. Yep, good stuff. All right, still to come here this morning, Tyler Cruz will have our sports updates.
Don't go away.
Comfy, cozy, relaxing. Not Joe. Joe's Furniture. Joe's Furniture Warehouse in Newport is the place to find rockers, recliners, sofas, and easy chairs. Quality furniture, affordable prices. Not your average Joe. Joe's Furniture Warehouse, Grogan Avenue in Newport.
At Living Innovations, we build community. You can be a part of it. We put supporting people first, and that builds a caring community within our workforce and for the people we serve. Living Innovations supports people with disabilities and has flexible work opportunities available. You could become a shared living provider and work from home, or help support people to be active in the community. To learn more, visit livinginnovations.com and check out our employment and home provider opportunities. Become a part of Living Innovations and be part of a community with a purpose.
Roto-Rooter has served the greater Bangor area and beyond for 35 years, offering plumbing, hydrojetting, snaking, descaling, video inspection, and grease interceptor cleaning services. For all your residential and commercial clogs, call Roto-Rooter today, 990-1234.
And away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
Durable, sturdy, stylish. Not Joe. Joe's Furniture. Joe's Furniture Warehouse in Newport is the place to find solid wood, built to last, made in Maine dressers, bureaus, and nightstands. Not your average Joe. Joe's Furniture Warehouse, Grogan Avenue in Newport.
Hey, good morning, America.
Good morning, America. Good morning, America.
Good morning, America.
Good morning, America.
Every day of your life.
Welcome back in, everyone. Thank you for staying with us. Starting out on the golf course, the 2024 U.S. Amateur Championship starting this week, and Maine's Eli Spalding is out there competing. CBS 13's David caught up with the Maine Am champ ahead of the tourney.
To be honest, it still really hasn't sunk in.
Eli Spalding is getting ready for the biggest tournament of his young career, the U.S. Amateur Championship.
I mean, it feels incredible. I think to play in the USAM is such a big deal for me. You know, really one of the biggest amateur tournaments in the whole world.
Eli punched his ticket to Hazeltine after this thrilling putt at Perputic, which sealed his first ever Maine amateur win.
To have that moment, whether it's kind of gearing down those last couple holes, and if you need to make the cut or to win a match, whatever it is, to know I've done it before is something that I think is going to really help me going forward.
Eli, who'll be heading to Loyola, Maryland in the fall, says competing at the USAM will be a great tune-up.
To have a chance to play against some of the best college players right now at the USAM is just going to be huge.
Now, Eli isn't the first Mainer to compete at the U.S. Amateur.
It was a thrill to play with Tiger and play with a great defending champion.
Back in 1995, 13-time Maine Am champ Mark Plummer went head-to-head against the great Tiger Woods in the semifinals of the U.S. Amateur Championship.
With what Mark said about playing Tiger in the USAM, it's just about going out there and believing and knowing you can do it and giving it your all.
Wishing him luck. Spalding finished the day 6 over par. Moving on now, get out the pens and the calendars, Celtics fans. As of Monday, we officially have a date for the Celtics 2024 season opener and the raising of the NBA record banner number 18. Boston will put the 2024 season in the rafters forever and begin their title defense both on October 22nd at TD Garden. That is a Tuesday night, and they'll be doing so against one of their more historic rivals, opening up the season, hosting the New York Knicks. The Celtics, as of now, are the betting favorites to win the title in 2025, with the odds just under 3-1. Their full schedule will be released later this month. To the baseball diamond now, some big news for Sea Dogs fans and Red Sox fans. We knew it was coming eventually, and the Big Three is finally moving up and out of Portland. On Sunday, the Red Sox promoting shortstop Marcelo Meyer, outfielder Roman Anthony, and catcher Kyle Teal to AAA Worcester. Meyer, Anthony, and Teal are the Red Sox top 3 prospects, and all 3 of them are ranked in the top 25 of all of baseball, with Meyer leading the way, clocking in at number 6. Each of them have been excellent in Portland this summer. Meyer is batting .307, Anthony leads the group with 15 homers, and Teal has 60 runs batted in. Meyer was Boston's first-round pick back in 2021. Teal also a first-round pick, this one back in 2023. Some other news with the Red Sox. The Sox have handed outfielder Jarren Duran a 2-game suspension without pay. Duran was caught on a Nesson mic during Sunday's game responding to a heckling fan by using a homophobic slur. The Sox brass called a press conference on Monday to discuss the situation. President Sam Kennedy called it disappointing and unacceptable. And late Sunday night, Duran issuing this statement through the team saying, quote, "I used a truly horrific word when responding to a fan. I feel awful knowing how many people I offended and disappointed." Duran went on to apologize to the Red Sox organization and the LGBTQ community and recognized that he fell short of his responsibility as a role model and is using the opportunity to educate himself and grow. Moving on to the football field now, a big week ahead for the Patriots, back at practice on Monday. And on Tuesday, they welcome in the Philadelphia Eagles to Gillette Stadium. The defending NFC East champs coming to Foxborough for joint practices on Tuesday and Wednesday ahead of the second preseason game on Thursday. Philly is New England's only joint practice scheduled for this season, and with only 3 preseason games, the joint practices are really important for evaluations. After only playing 1 series in last week's game against Carolina, head coach Gerard Mayo says it's also a huge week for rookie quarterback Drake May and for all the other quarterbacks.
Yeah, for all the quarterbacks, it's a huge week for those guys that really show development. Drake will play more this week for sure. But don't forget, anytime you practice against a team, like they'll get a lot of good reps against someone else, and based on that, we'll see how we'll play in the game. That's all positions. People want to say, why didn't Drake play this much or that much? Look, we had a plan, and we have a plan for this week as well.
What that plan may be, hopefully, involves a little bit more playing time. That is all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
Situated in Jonesboro on the coast of Maine lies Barren View Golf Course, a true links course that's a treat for golfers of all skill levels. We feature a driving range, putting green, practice sand trap, pro shop, and snack bar. Open 7 days a week. Please call ahead for a tee time.
If you've been in an accident with a truck, making the wrong call can be costly. Evidence and witnesses can disappear. You need to stop that from happening. These are some of the most complicated cases for a law firm, but not if you call one that handles truck cases every day. Call a law firm with the resources, experience, and power to go after every dollar you deserve. If you're hurt in a truck accident, call Joe. The law offices of Joe Bornstein.
Tell them you mean business.
Two Nights Brewing Company in Sangerville presents the TKB Music Festival on September 1st. All original music by all Maine artists. Gates open at 9 a.m. Bring a lawn chair. Tickets available at twonightspc.com/events. Trident Medical Home Care and Hospice presents ATV Adventures. Join us August 25th in Newport for a day of fun, food, and philanthropy. Bring your family and friends and help make this a huge success for hospice care. For more info and to register, call Trident Medical. Don't miss out on this fun and impactful event. Situated in Jonesboro on the coast of Maine lies Barren View Golf Course, a true links course that's a treat for golfers of all skill levels. We feature a driving range, putting green, practice sand trap, pro shop, and snack bar. Open 7 days a week. Please call ahead for a tee time.
All right, now here's meteorologist Conrad Sapinski with our full weather forecast.
Our Maine weather this morning is brought to you by Washington County Community College in Calais. Check out the new agriculture technology program. Don't miss out on free college. All right, folks, good morning, and take a look at this. Let's start out by talking about some weather all over the U.S. Yes, we are looking at some storms, some stronger storms down south. They were in Colorado. Now they're making their way into Missouri, and get ready, Illinois, you are next in line. But some rain is in the western states, much needed, especially for all those wildfires in the western part of the United States. Now, for us, though, we're just looking at a good amount of clouds, but no worries. We will see a lot of sunshine later on this afternoon. No worries for that. And it is going to be nice and toasty once again. Dew points, very comfortable levels, not only for today, through Wednesday, through Thursday, and then even through Friday. We are looking at very comfortable dew point levels. By Saturday into Sunday, starting to rise just a little bit. No worries, folks. Of course, this weather is looking very good the next several days. Dew points will still be on the comfortable end. Now, for today, though, UV index is going to be at a high. We've seen much worse, of course, 7, 8s, and 9s, even close to 10. But no, now things, no, nothing like that. We're looking at maybe a 6, maybe a 7 in some spots, but I do think we're going to see a UV index of around a 6 for today. That means around 30 minutes or more, and average skin will begin to burn. Recommend putting on a hat, some sunglasses. Of course, sunscreen is going to be very important as well. Find some shade and drink your water. Very, very important to stay hydrated as well. If you are going to be spending a lot of time outdoors in the sun, especially, right? Now, temperature-wise, though, our average is right around 80 degrees. So it does look like for today, we're going to be a couple of degrees above that. Tomorrow, closer to average. And then look at this, Thursday, Friday, and then right through the rest of this week, we are looking at closer to average temperatures. Maybe a little bit cooler Sunday into Monday, especially beginning of next week, but still looking around into those mid-70s. So, I mean, just maybe a couple degrees below average. Not too bad there. Now, for today, though, we are looking at low 80s. Lots of sunshine, though. A light breeze out of the west and northwest. Now, for tonight, though, mid-50s, so a bit cooler than what we experienced today morning. Now, mostly clear, though, so things are going to look clear, calm as well. Good night to maybe go look at the stars. For tomorrow, though, increasing clouds, afternoon chances of showers and thunderstorms, temperatures closer to average. Our extended forecast outlook does show thunderstorms in the area once again on Thursday, then decreasing clouds on Friday.
There is a store that is all about toys, where you will find that special and unique toy at Out on a Whimsy, Maine's largest toy store. A magical toy wonderland filled with fun and imagination for every child. Now with 3 locations, Belfast, Bangor, and Blue Hill.
We're 8 miles from the easternmost point in the whole United States. First Bell moved here in 1765. Our family's been farming here ever since. Reliable power is essential on the farm. You know, you don't think about the power much until it goes out, and then you realize how much you rely on it. We've been very impressed with the ability of Versant to respond, get the power back on. Versant Power is kind of the silent partner keeping the farm running.
Angler's Restaurant with 2 locations in Newport and Searsport. Open daily from 11 to 8. We are your home for fresh seafood. Our specialty is scallops, lobster, fish and chips, and of course, lobster rolls. Now, if seafood is not your preference, we offer fan favorites like cheeseburgers and chicken tenders. Stop by for the atmosphere and stay for the incredible dining experience. Anglers, Maine's family seafood restaurant.
Jurassic Quest is back and bigger than ever. See life-size animatronic dinosaurs, including Apatosaurus, the massive T-Rex, and the 50-foot-long Megalodon. Interact with walking dinos and baby dinos. Experience incredible dinosaur rides, giant fossil digs, inflatables, the fossil science exhibit, and more. Don't miss the largest and most realistic dinosaur event on Earth at Cross Insurance Center in Bangor this Friday through Sunday only. Tickets are flying fast. Get your tickets now before they're gone at JurassicQuest.com.
Shut up! All right! I've got to hear this. Hard day! I'm here to do business. I am a judge. It sounds funny when I say it.
Pride of lions at the Oregon Zoo were ready for their close-ups when they found a hidden camera set up in the predators of the Serengeti enclosure. The lion's pod carried and yawned into it, giving some insider views. Zookeepers posted on social media that the camera was stalled just days before the lions discovered it. I want to go to that zoo. Oregon, I think that's Portland, Oregon. Did I say Portland, Oregon?
Yeah.
There's one zoo in Oregon, I think. So.
We love baby animals, so.
Yeah, I know. Okay, we're about out of time. We'll continue broadcasting on Fox 22.
Have a great day, everyone.
If you've been injured and think you can't afford a lawyer, think again.
You can hire Lowry & Associates, and there's no fee unless they win your case. Just call the twos.
We don't get paid unless you get paid. We call it the Lowry Guarantee.
They win or it's free. That's the Lowry Guarantee. Lowry & Associates settled my case for $400,000.
Call the twos. We win for you.
If you're hurt in an accident, what do you do? Call 222-2222.
It is said that the eyes are the windows into the soul, which begs the question, can a window have a soul? At Renewal by Andersen, we think so. When it's a window forged from Fibrix and over 100 years of refined craftsmanship, the essence of who we are transforms into a superior, stunningly beautiful window. So yes, a window can have a soul. For a limited time, take advantage of this great offer. Find out why we are the better way to a better window. Renewal by Andersen.
Your favorite restaurants for half off. It's half off dining from Fox 22 and ABC 7. Go to foxbangor.com, click on half off dining, and start saving now.
Mossy Ledge Spirits is a true hidden gem in Etna. Located just 3 miles off I-95, exit 167, we are home to tastings, tours, cocktails, to-go drinks, bottles, live music, and priceless memories. So enjoy some pizza and raise the glass here at Mossy Ledge Spirits.
Great restaurants from all over Eastern Maine at half off dining from Fox 22 and ABC 7.
On the Road, broadcasting the news at 6, live from Machias, is brought to you by Downey's Community Hospital in Machias continues its mission to improve the health of the people of Sunrise County. Points East Real Estate, locally owned and operated. Your friends and neighbors at 25 Main Street, Machias. And Cottonwood Camping and RV Park, adventure camping for the whole family, ATV rentals, a treehouse, cabins, and easy access to the Down East Sunrise Trails.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Good morning, America. Overnight, former President Donald Trump's conversation.
Right at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Today on Good Morning Maine, disturbing allegations of animal abuse in a Bucksport animal sanctuary where authorities are investigating the deaths of several dogs.
Plus, new laws for the medical and recreational use of marijuana could be some of the biggest changes to the industry in Maine since it all started.
And recent vandalism at the Craig Brook National Fish Hatchery could cause the public to lose access to the area. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Emma Smith.
And I'm Craig Colson. Thank you for joining us on this Tuesday morning. We'll have those stories and a lot more coming up over the next hour. But first, a check of the forecast and pretty good news in that department. It looks like another beautiful summer day on the way with sunny skies, temperatures in the 80s. Looks like it will continue as the week rolls along, maybe a chance of